Well, I'm home in Tennessee. The last video I had lost my way, and I went back to try to find the shelter, and I couldn't find it for some reason. And I'd had a couple of incidences on the trail, which were strange. The night before last, some man tried to pick me up, really stalker kind of guy. I'd met him on the trail earlier in the day, and he ended going the opposite direction that I was. And he ended up at my shelter, which was strange enough. And there were 3 young men hiking, and they suggested that I camp with them instead of at the shelter. So I did that, which made it a lot safer. And this man had wanted to take me to dinner, was telling me that his first wife was terrible, second wife was terrible, third wife was bossy, that he's married to now, and he liked me from the minute he met me, and just strange things. So I decided to camp with these guys, and we had a really nice time around the campfire, and they were just really great guys. Well, the next day when I couldn't find that shelter, I went on past, and 2 drunken voices started yelling at me from somewhere, saying, "River, River, come party with us." Now, that could mean they just wanted to give me a beer, but what it really felt like was something else, and it just felt terrible. So I tried going back to find the shelter, and then I realized that might not be such a good idea, because I might run into those guys again. And I decided to go on through. So you saw me in the pasture there. That's after that incident, and I was a little shook up, if you couldn't tell. But I was out of water. I needed to go on, get more water. I got down to the south branch of I can't remember what river, and there was a stream, and I refreshed my water bottles, and I realized I had hurt myself, and I had torn my Achilles tendon. There was a thunderstorm coming. There was a campsite about 3 miles away where I could set up my tent, but my tent had been leaking a little bit. There was a couple of guys that I didn't know what were doing behind me. And as I came up to Tees Road there was a car parked there. So I realized they were probably the 2 guys that somehow learned my trail name from somebody on the trail. I don't know. And that if I stayed there, it wouldn't be safe. So I pushed my I need help button on my spot, personal locator beacon, to tell my husband that he needed to get me extracted somehow. And in our prearranged thing was that he would come get me or send a shuttle. Well, he got concerned, so he sent the sheriff, who called the park ranger. And they were going to come get me. But right at that time, a really nice older man, a much older man, he's a great-grandpa, stopped for me and took me into Marion. And I told him what was going on, and he told me, he said, "What were you thinking? A woman out there alone? Men don't care whether you're old or young. They'd rape you, cut your throat, and leave you on the side of the trail and not think twice about it." And then very sweetly he started showing me the turkeys out in the field and trying to get my mind off things. He was so sweet. And then he took me down and he showed me his community, and it was a really pleasant experience. Well, I got to the motel and waited for my husband, and got a nice shower. It felt really great. And then this morning we went back to the trail, and I thought, well, I'll just get to the shelter, I'll take a 0 day, see how my ankle feels, and then just keep going, because I really know I can do it now. I could do the trail. But then after discussing it and praying about it, my husband and I decided that I probably wouldn't be able to hike with people for a while yet, even though I did 13 miles yesterday and I've been doing about 9 miles a day. I still wasn't up to speed for the people that were coming up from behind, so from Springer Mountain and from the approach trail, and all they were going at least 15 miles a day and up to 29 miles a day. So we just felt it was too dangerous at this point. And I realized that I had actually accomplished what I had been there for. I'd learned from people, I'd taught people, I'd grown, I saw what I was capable of. If you've been watching this, I was in a wheelchair for 14 years. And I have lupus, and I healed myself from lupus. And I started hiking again about 4 years ago. So this was to be a gratitude trip, and a trip to just find out what I was really capable of. And now I know that I can do it. I could do it. But under the circumstances, it probably just was too dangerous at this time. If I were to do it again, I would start with a large group, either in at the beginning of the trail in Springer Mountain or the approach trail, or I would start at West Virginia April 1st when they have their kickoff there, so that I could hike with a large group and no longer be hiking alone, find someone to hike with. I'm sure there are other people wanting to find someone to hike with. I don't want to discourage women from hiking. I think it's very important that we go ahead and hike, but we just have to do it wisely. I evidently was naive. I did not realize that men were like that. I don't know how I missed that in my growing up here, but evidently it isn't the safest thing to be traveling alone. So I would suggest you find people to hike with wherever possible, and enjoy yourself. It was a wonderful, glorious experience. I truly, truly enjoyed it, would not give up the lessons I learned for anything. And now I know who I am and what I'm capable of, much more than I did before. Well, God bless you, and this may be my final, it will be my final Appalachian Trail video, but hopefully there will be other adventures that you might be interested in watching. And for my family, I love you. It was great, and I hope you have fun watching the videos. Goodbye.